Welcome to another Bitcoin update. So in this video, I just want to show you how price action has basically been doing what I thought it would. And in my last idea, which I'll link below, I did actually come up with this latest count on what I think is the 5-wave structure in wave C. So previously it was thought that the structure ended here at this high, and I did release a video saying what happens at the top of wave B's. However, that was proven wrong, and I did say, well, that doesn't really change much. We're just looking for another high now, and this is basically the count. I did say the target would be 51611. We did break that, as always we do with Bitcoin. It always seems to break targets, and then we did see a reversal, and it has come back to retest that particular level there. You can see that it's come back and retested it, so it must be significant. Otherwise, it wouldn't even go near it. And that's because it's the length. It would have been the length of wave 1 down here when measured. Now, like I've mentioned a lot of times, we do need to see a break of wave 4 in order to confirm a reversal is taking place. And it will be basically a long-term top in this market. As you know, this past week we have seen some pretty interesting reversals across the board in cryptos. So I don't think this is going to be just relating to any one particular crypto. I think it's just across the board in general. Now, as you know, I'm of the belief that this is a wave B, right? So if this is a wave B, then it's a zigzag, and I've just marked it out here as to how I see that having been formed. And it's basically I'll just mark it here like this. A, B, C. Okay, that's how I see it, the zigzag in that particular way. Okay, now obviously wave C is longer than wave A. And that's because of the mania, that's because of the hype, and that's because of a lot of other things which I don't want to get into right now. You can see the slope on this trend has, basically become weaker looking. If this was a wave 3, this thing would have gone straight up. You wouldn't have seen this sort of weakness down the bottom here. I think that you would have seen like a move that was even sharper than this, right? Something like this, probably. But in saying that, we still need to see reversal confirmation. For this C wave to get any longer than this would be definitely strange. It should not be even this long, right? That's why I called it earlier, and that's because it was already getting too long. If you're comparing the length of wave A here, it's already too long. So, but what can you do? This is just the way these bubbles form, and yeah. So regardless of all that stuff, it's just the way it is. I'm just trying to track it because I like tracking waves. That's what I do. Not always easy in these markets at the moment. They're pretty crazy. A lot of FOMO, a lot of irrational exuberance going on. So it just makes things stretch out a bit longer and further. So do I think this is going to create a wave 1 down? Like I said, we need to see a break of both of these red lines for the main wave 4 and the wave 4 of wave 3. I'd be very surprised if this thing turns around and goes up even higher. I would definitely just have to change my view if that's the case, because any higher than this now, we've basically it's just getting to the point where it's just gone too far. Basically, it's just any bigger than this, and I have to definitely start reconsidering the potential waves that could be in play if it's a wave three. But even so, after seeing the first wave, you'd still need to see a full correction, right? A full correction. So I suppose it's just something I'm going to try and keep an eye out for, like we saw back here, right here in wave four, right? We didn't exactly see the full set of waves that I was anticipating, which to me, was a sign that it's not going down yet. I did always say that we need to see a break of this low, which never happened, right? So even though I get BS comments saying you were wrong, blah, 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 that's fine. But I did say we need to break that low first, and it never happened. So you can say BS all you like. At the end of the day, if you get caught holding the bag when this thing falls, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Your comments are not going to make a difference anyway, right? So you just go watch, the poop can guy who just is always moonshotting his analysis. In an uptrend, you know, if you're getting sucked into the mania, of course you're going to keep following the guy who's supporting your view. That's called confirmation bias. That's fine, right? But there comes a point when the BS becomes very noticeable, and then you can no longer keep spitting that same BS anymore, because it's just not going to make a difference how bullish you are when the thing's tanking and it's on its way down, right? You can keep building all your little ideas for everybody to absorb, but if it's going down falling like a sack of bricks, what good does that do anyway, right? There's a lot of different views out there, right? There's like the Peter Schiff, Elon Musk thing that's going on lately, um, and just basically Peter Schiff's view in general. I can agree to a certain extent with what he says. I can also agree with you know the Fed printing money to high hell and all this sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, the waves are going to be the ones that dictate who's right or wrong. If this thing tanks, it's not going to make a difference that Tesla bought Bitcoin, right? It's not going to make a difference at all. Just because someone popular or famous or successful claims that something is good, right? And the rest of the little sheep will follow them off a cliff. Well, probably not going to do too good for that person's reputation down the line. Um, Gold is always going to be the realest money ever. Printed receipts, IOUs, really don't mean anything after a while, as you would know if you've done your history. So this is just another episode of let's ruin the economy. Let's print all the money we can and just basically destroy the standard of living, right? So at the end of the day, you're going to have to be at least partly in precious metals, because where this is going probably won't be good. Inflation will eventually pick up and double exponentially. And, we're already starting to see it happen. I predict that it's going to happen soon. It's been 40 years since the correction started in precious metals, and I do think something pretty big is going to happen. If Bitcoin was still consolidating down below this whole year, I would have maybe thought that it has some huge potential, even bigger than this, what it's done so far. But at this stage, I think it's part of the bubble. I think it's going to cop the deflation that is coming in markets. Not saying that these things aren't going to go up in the future. They probably will once they bounce. But will it be because it's worth what people say it's worth, or is it going to be because of the inflation that's coming, because of the debasement? No doubt debasement has already happened, But if you think it can't get a million times worse, then be careful. Go back and review the history books. This thing could only be getting started, right? Now, if this is wave 2 in progress and this is a B wave, the way I say, yeah, sure. Once we see the rest of the correction done, I would not doubt that this thing is going to moonshot like nothing has ever moonshotted. But at the same time, probably a lot of other things will be moonshotting as well. So, the only problem with Bitcoin, if the fiat money starts to really collapse, is that most people to use fiat money will have to convert Bitcoin into fiat money and using it. And if fiat money is not reliable at the time, then it's going to be a little bit hard to convert your Bitcoin into fiat, isn't it? Because it's just going to be probably even more volatile than Bitcoin, which is saying something, I reckon. I don't know. These are just concepts that I'm thinking about. Bitcoin doesn't really handle that larger volume of transactions compared to other things, other cryptos, or even like credit card companies, Visa, Mastercard, that sort of thing. Would it be able to take on such a load if it had to, without wiping out the entire electric grid because of its power consumption? Well, there's probably going to be something else that comes up to replace it. I probably have no doubt this will be a collector's piece for sure. But at the end of the day, cryptos, can they really exist without fiat? So if fiat goes down the toilet, well, what are you going to convert your Bitcoin into? Gold? Well, that'll be interesting. I do believe there are some gold-backed cryptos coming out, which will probably be a better investment, maybe even easier to use. Anyway, I've carried on long enough on this one. Just thought I'd give you an update on what I think is happening in these waves. Also diving a little bit deeper into the way I see it fundamentally. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to see some real confirmation in order to further anticipate the future movements in this market. So hopefully you found this video interesting and informative. Thank you for watching.